Okay, this is a basic introduction into calculating the cumulative frequency. Now what it says up there is cumulative frequency is where you accumulate the frequency values. Okay, now the frequency values are here in the frequency column, and as you can see for the first row the cumulative frequency of that will be 9, because at the moment you've only got 9. This cumulative frequency column actually is something that you may need to add yourself. They might not include that in the exam. But if we continue to accumulate the frequency, we've got 9 here, so we're going to accumulate as we go down. So by the time we get to here we've got 9 and 12, so 9 plus 12 is 21. We continue to accumulate, so we add another 24 on. 21, which is our total from here, plus the new 24 gives us 45, and so on. That's it with it. 28 added on, add 16 is 89, and add the 11 is 100. So that's how you accumulate the frequency. Now what we need to look at is how we're going to put this on a graph. You can see here, top right, I've got exactly the same table as we've just been looking at. One of the important things that we've got to remember is what value to plot against what. Okay, and what we do is whatever's in this left-hand column, we need to use the upper values. So we're going to use these ones. I've highlighted them in red. So here the upper value is 35, 40, 45, etc. And we're going to plot that against the cumulative frequency. So the first point we're going to plot using the upper values is going to be 35 on the x-axis and 9. So it's going to be roughly about here. And then we're going to continue. The next point will be 40, 21. So that's going to plot on the graph, and we should get a nice curve as that happens. So the dots appear, and then you join them freehand with a smooth curve. Next thing that you might be asked is what's the median value? Now the median is the halfway point. Now depending on how many, what your total of cumulative frequency is, in this case it's 100, the median is going to be at the halfway point. So we're going to come across from 50 here, come all the way to the curve, and as soon as you hit the curve, just like a conversion graph, you come down. Now some people get confused that the median is 50, but that's just the point that we use to find the median. The actual value is down on the x-axis here, and you can see that that value is 47. Other things you might be asked about is the upper and lower quartiles. Now quartile comes from the word quarter, so we're looking at quartering up our data here. Now the upper quartile value is found at the 3/4 point. So if you remember, our total frequency, cumulative frequency, was 100. So 3/4 of 100 is 75. So that's why we've come across at 75 here. And just like we did with the median, you come across from the 75 point. As soon as you hit the curve, you come down, and that's your value there at the bottom. So it says here, it's the value found from the x-axis, so our upper quartile value is 51. Exactly the same thing done with the lower quartile, but the lower quartile is the value found at the quarter point of the cumulative frequency. So again, we had 100, a quarter of 100 is 25, so that's the point where we come across to the curve, down to the x-axis. Let's measure in time in seconds, and you can see there that that's 42 is a rough estimate from that. Now your values might change if you're doing this sitting next to somebody else, but as long as you're reading the values off your curve, you should be getting marks for this. And finally, just to finish off, the interquartile range is something they might ask about, and that's just the upper quartile value take away the lower quartile value. So as you can see, we've already found the upper quartile and the lower quartile value, so we have 51 take away 42, and that gives you 9. Okay, so that's the basic introduction to calculating cumulative frequency, putting it on a graph, and using that to calculate the median, upper quartile, and lower quartile. For more information about finding values from a cumulative frequency graph or turning them into box plots, tune in for another video. Thank you.